A warm welcome to all. Myself, Devika Dilip. The topic today we are going to discuss is Finance and Accounts in Social Security Code 2020. The purpose of Code on Social Security Code 2020 is to amend and consolidate the laws relating to Social Security with the goal to extend Social Security to all employees and workers either in the organized or unorganized or any other sectors and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The Second National Commission on Labor suggested the amalgamation of central labor laws into broader groups such as wages, industrial relations, social security and occupational safety, health and working conditions. Social Security Code was passed by Lok Sabha on September 22nd, 2020 and subsequently by Rajya Sabha on 2020 September 23rd with a view to amalgamate, simplify, and rationalize the relevant provisions of the nine central labor enactments relating to Social Security. The number of laws that are subsumed into or are codified as Social Security codes are first, the Employees Compensation Act 1923, then Employees State Insurance Act 1948, Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provision Act 1952, the Employees Exchange Compulsory Notification of Vacancies Act 1959, the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972, the Sin Workers Welfare Fund Act 1981, the Building and Other Construction Workers Welfare Cess Act 1996, and the last, the Unorganized Workers Social Security Act 2008. Some of the salient features of Social Security Act 2020 are gig workers. Gig worker is the new concept introduced in the code. The code defines gig workers as a person who performs work or participates in a work arrangement and earn from such activities outside of traditional employer-employee relationship. Normally, a gig worker means a person who performs a job temporarily or someone who take up part-time jobs on hourly basis. The concept of gig workers has been introduced for the first time under the ambit of labor laws. It was the need of the hour to define such category of workers that consist of a large number of freelancers which work on temporary basis. Then the platform workers. The code defined platform workers as a person engaged in or undertaking platform work. Most commonly, platform based work is workers earn money by providing specific service or solve specific problems through online platforms such as Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Then the unorganized worker. Generally, unorganized workers means a home based worker or self employed worker or a wage worker in the unorganized sector. Then the benefits to unorganized workers, gig workers, and platform workers. As there is no specific legislation for all these kinds of workers, they cannot claim significant benefits like minimum wage, hour of work, overtime, leave, etc. The new code introduces the same opportunities and protection which is given to the other employees, like both in the government employees and private sector employees under various labor laws in India. So, according to this new code, all kinds of workers in gig workers, platform workers, or unorganized workers were treated or get all the rights that are equal to government workers or a private worker. Then registration. The code provides the compulsory registration of the every unorganized worker, gig worker and platform workers to avail the benefit of the concerned scheme framed under this code. Subject to the fulfillment of the following conditions, he has completed 16 years of age or such age as may be prescribed by the central government. He has submitted a self declaration containing information prescribed by the central government. Every eligible worker is to make an application for registration in such form along with such document indicating Aadhaar number as may be prescribed by the central government. The sixth one is the employee state insurance. ESI scheme will apply to establishment employing 10 or more employees. It is also be applicable to an establishment which carries on such hazardous or life-threatening occupation as notified by the central government. Even a single employee is employed. The code covers the gig workers and platform workers under the ESI scheme. If the employer fails to pay ESI contributions, the ESIC, that is the Employee State Insurance Corporation, may pay the benefits to the employee and recover it from the employer. The capitalized value of the benefit, including the contribution amount, interest and damages, and an arrear of land revenue and otherwise. The seventh one is gratuity. Gratuity is applicable to every factory, mine, oil field, plantation, port and railway company, and every establishment in which 10 or more employees are employed or were employed on any day of the preceding 12 months shall pay gratuity to their eligible employees. Gratuity shall be payable to an employee on the termination of his employment after he has rendered continuous service for not less than 5 years. Provided further that the completion of continuous service of 5 years shall not be necessary where the termination of the employment of any employee is due to death or disablement or expiration of fixed employment term. In case of working journalists, the gratuity shall be payable on the termination of employment after continuous service of 3 years. The Social Security Code entitled the fixed term employees, that is the employees who work for a fixed period of time to receive gratuity on pro rata basis based on the term of their contract. The maternity benefits. No woman shall work in an establishment during the 6 weeks immediately following the day of her delivery, miscarriage, or medical termination of pregnancy. Every woman shall be entitled to the payment of maternity benefits at the rate of the average daily wage for the period of her actual absence. Every woman shall be entitled to maternity benefit if she has actually worked in an establishment of the employer from whom she claims maternity benefit for a period of not less than 80 days in the 12 months immediately preceding the date of her expected delivery. The maximum period for which any woman shall be entitled to maternity benefit shall be 26 weeks, of which not more than 8 weeks shall be precede the expected date of her delivery. In addition to maternity benefit in terms of paid leaves, every woman is entitled to medical bonus of up to rupees 3,500. In case of miscarriage or medical termination of pregnancy, a woman shall be entitled to leave with wages at the rate of maternity benefit for a period of 6 months immediately following the day of her miscarriage. Chapter 10 of Social Security Code from Section 115 to 121 deals with finance and accounts. This chapter speaks about maintenance of books of accounts, annual auditing, preparation of annual budget, etc. of a social security organization. Section 115 deals with maintenance of proper accounts of income and expenditure. So, this section says that each of the Social Security organization shall maintain proper accounts of its income and expenditure in such a form and in such manner as the appropriate government may, after consultation with the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, specify. Section 116 deals with accounts of Social Security shall be audited annually by Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So the section says that the accounts of the Social Security Organization shall be audited annually by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and any expenditure incurred him in connection with such audit shall be payable by the respective Social Security Organization to the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. The Auditor General and Comptroller appointed in connection with the audit of accounts of a social security organization shall have the same rights and privileges and authority in connection with such audit as the Comptroller and Auditor General of India have. Section 118 deals with submission of account to appropriate government. It says that each of the state social security organizations shall submit to the appropriate government an annual report of its work and activities and the budget finally adopted by the social security organization. The appropriate government shall cause a copy of the annual report, budget, and the audited accounts together with the report of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India and the comments of the respective Social Security organization thereon to be laid before the House of Parliament or the state legislature as the case may be. Then section 119 deals with maintenance of fund. Each of the fund maintained by a social security organization or by an establishment under this code shall have a valuation of its assets and liabilities made by a valuer or actuary, as the case may be appointed with the prior approval of the appropriate government by such social security organization or the establishment, as the case may be in the following manner. Namely, in the case of central board annually, in case of corporation once in every 3 years, in case of any other social security organization or establishment as specified by the appropriate government by order, provided that the appropriate government, if it considers necessary, may direct such valuation to be made at such intervals other than provided in this section. Section 120 provides that a social security organization may subject to such conditions as may be prescribed by the appropriate government, acquire and hold property, both movable and immovable, sell or otherwise transfer any movable or immovable property which may have become vested in or have been acquired by it, do all things necessary for such purposes and for the purpose for which the said social security organization is established. It further provides that each of the social security organization except corporation may with the previous sanction of the appropriate government and on such terms as may be prescribed by the government constitute for the benefit of its officers and staffs or any other of them such provident or other benefit fund as it may think fit, and in case of officers, staff of the central board, such terms shall be specified in the provident fund scheme. Section 121 states that it's empower the social security organization subject to the conditions as may be prescribed by the appropriate government to sanction the writing of the losses where such social security organization is of the opinion that the amount of contributions, cess, interest and damage due to it under the bill is irrevocable. It further provides that in the case of provident fund, pension fund or insurance fund, such writing shall be specified in the provident fund scheme or pension scheme or insurance scheme as the case may be. The enactment of the Code on Social Security 2020 has made understanding of the scopes and ambit of Social Security laws easier by consolidating the pre-existing laws. The code also defines various terms like gig workers and platform workers, etc. The code will help in increasing employment opportunities by engaging workers on temporary basis and also providing them with social security. Accounting and finance is the center of any organization and is responsible for ensuring the financial management and financial control necessary to support all business activities. It is very much important for an organization to maintain its books of accounts and also conduct annual auditing to fulfill financial as well as legal aspects. Chapter 10 of Social Security Code deals with finance and accounts and talks about the maintenance of books of accounts. If only an organization is financially strong, it can provide works, benefits, and other factors to its employees. So it is necessary to overlook its aspect also. Thank you.